If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Coach Adam Fossett of B.B. Comer joins us this morning, brought to you by the B.B. Comer Booster Club. And Coach, a lot of folks, including the game you guys had, a little weather delay last week.
Yeah, we hadn't had rain or thunder or lightning in like a month, and it decides to show up last Friday. So we get to slap out last week and get dressed, and we're ready to go out. We send the first group out to warm up. And by the time I usually head out a little bit after the first group, I get to the field, I step on the field, and it lightens and thunders, and the administration sends us off. So we waited out. We're probably headed into 7 o'clock by now, So we had about a 45-minute delay. Say, hey, look, we're gonna bring everybody out. We'll warm up real quick and go out. So. We got the entire team out. We're stretched. We're ready to go. Coach Hale's got them pumped up and ready to go, and it lightens again. So
what's the rule? 30 minutes or something?
30 minutes after the last lightning strike. So this time they tell us, hey, go to this building down here. It's closer. So we go to the closer building, and it's a lawnmower shed. And it's very, very hot in there.
That ain't real conducive.
Yeah, not real good. So I had to keep the kids in there. We were committed to being in there by that point, and it was the weather was pretty bad. So they're in there. We wait about 10 minutes in. It lightens again. And long story short, we end up starting right around 9 o'clock, 10 after 9, and did not get a whole game in. But we did get some snaps in. We ended up playing 2 10-minute quarters, and we had the trip back. So if we were closer, we probably would have played a little bit more. But I had to get our guys back at a decent time, and just being on the road and safety and things like that. So we were able to get 2 10-minute quarters in. I feel like we learned a lot in those 10-minute quarters, but it was an interesting night for sure.
Talk about what you couldn't have gleaned a whole lot, but you did get something out of it. What are some pros that came out of those 2 10-minute quarters?
One thing we found, it was good to get game speed snaps. It was also good to get snaps with an officiating crew with this new 40-second time clock. And that's as far as on field, that's probably one of my concerns is how each specific crew is going to interpret this 40-second time clock. So when does that time clock start? Is it going to be relayed to the booth, and is that clock going to start at 40, or is that clock just set to go to 25 seconds because we have play clocks at the end of each field? So it's something that we have to worry about. Last week, apparently the play clocks quit working, and they never told us. So I'm watching the play clock on one end. I never looked at the other end, and the back judge throws a delay game. I said, the play clock never even started. He said, I'm keeping it on the field. They're not working. I'm like, you didn't tell us? You got to let us know. So, I found that out the hard way with a 5-yard penalty. But as far as just the players, we found out that some guys are probably more ready than we felt. We found out some guys that there were some guys that needed more polishing, and I feel like we've done that this week in practice. But just some basic things, just the opportunity to hit somebody other than your teammate in a scout team situation, or when first defense is running their stuff, and we're trying to give them a look on scout team, we may not have a true offensive tackle that can give them a look. We're finding the next best guy, and that guy may be doing the best he can, but we're not getting a true look. We're not getting somebody that doesn't know that guy across from him. He just wants to beat him and dominate him. So we did learn some things. I thought Brian Bradford stepped up and did a good job playing the quarterback for us with Devontae being hurt. And
where are we with the injury situation there?
He's better. It'll be a game time decision, but he's moving around. I think he's going to be okay. But anytime you talk about a knee, a little bit scary. So, but I think this week has really. Last week was a humbling experience, and my guys were riding the high from spring football. Like, we had a really good spring. We go to Raglan and beat Raglan. We tie with Vincent, and we go toe-to-toe with Vincent for 2 quarters, and then Vincent and Raglan play. Raglan beats Vincent pretty handily, and we feel like that's because we were so physical with Vincent, and we wore him out. So we were riding that high from that. We rode that through the summer, and then we got humbled last Friday. Really humbled us, and it hurt some of our guys, some of our older guys especially. This is year 2, and our expectations are a little bit higher. Next year, the expectations are going to be a little bit higher and a little bit higher, because it goes from, hey, this is year 1 to year 2 to, hey, now we're building this program. Now it's a program. Mm-hmm. So as the expectations get higher, but some of our older guys were they were humble because they didn't perform like they should have, and they saw that they didn't perform like they should have. So there's a lot of value in that for me as a coach, because now these guys are seeing their mistakes, and we're not having to point out their mistakes. These guys are, Coach, I screwed that up. Coach, I didn't give it my all. Coach, I did this. So if you can evaluate yourself and critique yourself, then you're making steps forward. So
you've got weather delays. You got a pretty young football team.
Yes.
You've got playing basically an exhibition game. Yeah. And so, your kids, sometimes even as adults, we don't focus the way we should in scenarios like that.
Right. And the focus level, if we could have gotten off the bus and stuck with the schedule, I think it would have been different too. And that's the psychology of that is tough to deal with. It's even as coaches, we were like, kind of bouncing off the walls. Like, are we going to get to play? Or my assistant coaches, every time I came back to the locker room or came back over to where they were, are we playing? Are we playing? Guys, I'm waiting this out. I'm not in charge of this. So, but yeah, and the weather delays, and we talked about this before, because some of the coaches that are with me now were with me at Childersburg, and we had a season at Childersburg where we had probably 3 or 4 weather delays. Mm-hmm. We were at Hanley one Friday night, and we had a weather delay. They put us in the gym with us, our band and cheerleaders, and Hanley's band and cheerleaders.
Oh, wow.
All in a gym, and we were in there for like a little over an hour. So, as far as keeping focus and things like that, it's tough because there was so much going on in there, and those groups had to have somewhere to go. I get that, but just talking about distractions and teenagers and the distractions that come with it, it did take a toll on them, psychologically. The second time we came out, if we could have played then, I think we probably would have had a different result, just based on the energy that you could feel on the field. So, but they've carried that. Monday, the rain carried over into Monday. We didn't get on the field Monday, so Monday was a big mental day. We watched a lot of film. We did some walkthrough stuff, put in all our game plan stuff, and things like that. So on film, kids are like, what'd you do? What didn't you do? And they're telling us, so they know. So that's the first step, is seeing that there is a problem, so to speak, or seeing that you missed a block or missed an assignment. And step 2 is correcting it, and we've worked on correcting it this week. So
Winterboro this week on the road, and Winterboro with a win in their opener, but it's the start of the real season for your team tomorrow night too.
Yes. Yeah, it counts starting tomorrow night. So, and that's a big thing. Last year's game, if you could take a game and say, watch this game, this is how everything bad that can happen is going to happen. So last year if you could do it in a game, we could do it. As far as fumbles, having a punt blocked, having a snap go over, a snap for a punt going over somebody's head, missed tackles, missed assignments, all sorts of stuff. So, and Monday we watched basically the first quarter of that game, and you're looking at that game and you're like, okay, we get the ball, we go 3 and out, we line up to punt, so the snap sails over the punter's head, they recover. First play, they take a shot and score. So they're up 6-0. They've only run one offensive play, and then we get the ball back. We just don't, we didn't have anything going. There was no chemistry there, and I think, well, I don't think, I know a lot of that is first year stuff.
Yeah.
You're talking about building. You're talking about. It goes back to those 11 seniors that were there. Only 5 of those kids had played all the way through high school. 6 of them had played spottingly here and there, but not played all the way through. So one of the seniors was on the coverage of that touchdown. But those 11 guys are the ones that, in 3 years, those 11 guys are going to be the ones that built the foundation for this.
One of our easily beating Central Coosa County last week. What concerns you about this Winneboro football team?
I'll tell you, they're athletic and they're big. They're a very big team. Physically, they're monsters, and they do a good job. They do a good job spreading the ball around. Quarterback does a good job commanding the team and making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be. He makes good decisions. If something's not there, he's not going to try and force the issue and make something happen. Defensively, they get after it. They're gonna send somebody every time. They're gonna try and pressure you. They're gonna try and put you in uncomfortable situations. So we've got to make sure offensively that we're keeping up with what they're doing on defense, and we've got to adjust to what they're doing. So there'll be a lot of pressure on our coaches in the box to communicate to us on the field what's going on and what we can do to adjust to that. And then defensively, we've got to be able to tackle. We've got to be able. One guy is not going to bring their backs down. Their backs are just so big. It's going to take 11 guys getting to the football. So, and that's why it's a team sport. We got to have all 11 doing what they're supposed to do. So, as far as game and things like that, our guys are looking forward to another opportunity to play them, just because they felt the guys that played last year that are still with us, they feel like, hey, we played like crap and let a game that we could compete in and win slip away. Right, yeah. So that's not the debut you want. So they're looking forward to it, and they're looking forward to, our guys are looking forward to the season. It's been a long off season. It's been a long summer. It's been it hasn't been a long fall camp because they've cut the days, but to our guys, it's been a long fall camp. Gone are the days where you can go practice 2 days and things like that. That's what I wish we could do, is back the start of school up and have a true camp and things like that. But our guys are like, it's been forever. It's only been 3 weeks, guys. We need another week at least to get everything ready. But it's here, and 7 o'clock Friday night, it'll be kickoff, and ready or not, we're going to play ball. So.
Yeah, that's up at Winneboro, of course. And with the schedule that B.B. Comer is playing this year, as they did last year, every win is going to be a premium because of that schedule, and you got a great opportunity to get started on the right foot against Winneboro tomorrow night.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you want to be able, you want to have a confidence builder going into region play, because we go, and this is not a knock on Winneboro by any means, but we go from playing Winneboro to playing Sachs. And it's just 2 completely different teams. And, we want to have a confidence builder going into that Sachs game, knowing, hey, we've got some good things going. We know what guys can do. Now let's game plan for that first region game and the home game, and, kind of go from there.
A lot of young kids will see their first live varsity action tomorrow night against Winterboro. And Coach Griffith talked about this morning earlier. When the lights come on, a lot of things can go through, especially young kids' minds, and sometimes it overwhelms them.
Yes, yeah. When the lights come on, you see a different kid sometimes, and that goes both ways too. So we had a couple ninth graders and a couple eighth graders last week that we threw in the game, and all of a sudden they're making plays and getting after it against Hopeful's first offense, and I'm like, man, where has this been? So. There's nothing like Friday Night Lights. As a player, as a coach, as a fan, there's nothing like it. So when the lights come on in Alpine, it'll be go time.
Yeah.
And I think our guys are. I feel good about my guys where they are mentally and physically after last week. So we'll polish it up today and make sure we got our feet under us and we're rested up and. We'll be ready to roll for tomorrow. Finally,
it's been several years, but former head coach at Winterboro, Adam Fossett. Now, does it any more significance to taking on a former team that you coached than, say, a Sachs or somebody else?
I wouldn't say more significance. Winterboro will always hold a place in my heart because that's the first school that gave me a chance. That's the first school that said, hey, we want you to be our head coach. And it was I remember the whole process. I was there as an assistant, and the head coach that was there left, and I applied for the job and started workouts and started doing all the things I thought I wanted to do and that I thought I needed to do because whether I got the job or not, I wanted to be there. I wanted to stay there. And I remember Dr. Vicki Osment brought me in one day and she said, we've made a decision and you're our guy. And I was like, all right, we got to get started. So that was like early May, and we had to get rolling with spring football and things like that. And I'll never forget my first practice as a head coach. I thought, man, I got my practice schedule. I got my coaches. We're ready to go. All the kids get out there. And I said, all right, let's go. And they're like, well, how are we going to warm up? I'm like, well, crap, I didn't think about how we're going to do the warm up. So, as a very young head coach, 14, 15 years ago, or I guess 12 years ago, you kind of forget little things and like that and stuff like that. So, but Winterboro is a very unique place. It's a very cool place, the old rock building and just the history around the school and things like that. So again, it'll hold a special place in my heart. But on Friday night, my objective is to win. So that's our goal, is to come out of Winterboro with a win.
Quick couple of points that you'll be looking for tomorrow night for B.B. Comer that you must do to have a chance to win.
We cannot put the ball on the ground. We've got to secure the ball. Can't have turnovers, and we need to force a few turnovers. We're looking for some big plays. If we can have big plays offensively and get after it on defense, I feel good about it. And we've got to be solid in special teams play.
All right, Coach Adam Fossett, the head football coach and athletic director at B.B. Comer, our guest every Thursday morning on the Coach's Corner. B.B. Comer in Winterboro tomorrow night, kicking Alpine 7 o'clock. The Coach Adam Fossett Show brought to you by the B.B. Comer Booster Club. Coach, hope to see you next week.
Thanks, sir.